Okay, finally, my microphone is live. It was not live for the past, I don't know how many streams, and I'm really frustrated. Anyways, today's stream is going to be around how was my 2025 and a walkthrough of what I should have done differently, what was good, what was bad, and everything else. Don't mind the room, I just did my laundry and there's all the clothes. I'll fold it later. Anyways, it's too late now. So first of all, let's start with January. In January, I was in my vacations. So in vacations, I didn't do anything differently. I was more inclined towards software during the January part. During the January part, I was more inclined towards software. So I was doing more of the data structures question on lead code in Java. And I did that for January and Feb. I got a call in January, around end of January, start of Feb, with the company that I did an internship with, telling me to come back and join them again after my studies finishes for a cybersecurity role. But I was too high in my head back then. I thought I would get a computer science role at Google or Amazon or something like this, and I said no to them. And then suddenly, what happened was the time I had to study data structures was not enough, and I wasn't even getting interviews because I didn't have any good projects. And then I started applying for the jobs in March and April. In these 2 months, my university started and I started to apply for jobs as well. So I got really demotivated around this part of these 2 months in month 3 and 4 of 2025 as I was not getting any interview calls, and it was quite hard on me as well. And that's when I found out about quantitative finance, and I started to get more into quant, what it is, and what are the requirements to get into quant, because the pay was the highest when I take a look at any quant roles on Glassdoors. So that was one of my first interaction with quant. After that, so that was one thing. After that, I tried to get lots and lots of interview from these quant firms, which unfortunately I was not successful in. I did get few interviews, but interviews were quite hard for me as I had never prepared for any quant questions, like the probability questions that they usually ask. So it was hard for me. That was first thing. The second thing was I got into two events held by Susquehanna, if you know the name. First was the poker tournament, and second one was an algorithmic competition that these guys were held in. So I got into these two things, poker tournament and algorithmic competition. In poker tournament, I went offline and played something. I didn't win anything, but it was a good experience. I got to talk to them a lot. They told me to do a master's in like financial engineering or something like finance or something from a good university like UNSW, so that I can apply again after studying. Because UOW, they were like, this is not a target university. You need to have at least an HT, which I didn't have back then, and even now I don't have that. But yeah, that was one thing. So this was how my month 4 ended, and in month 5 I had my exams, and again this year was my final year, so it was much harder compared to the previous years. A lots of change I had to think about, like a final group project as well. And I also started to have this fucking acne breakdown. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this area is still in effect, and I'm getting constant acne in this area. This area is quite down, but there are lots of inflammation in those areas. So I'm trying to get rid of all the spots here and try to stop the fucking acne from growing any further. This is the goal for like December. So by the end of December, I shouldn't have any acne or any spots or barely visible spots that I will work on in Jan and Feb. So they will be all gone by Feb is my goal. So that's what happened, and that made me even more down. I was not getting any job interviews. I just got into quant, which I really loved. The salary, the concept of trading, but with algorithms, algorithmic trading, analysis, and everything. It was I started to like this, and that's when I also got in touch with quant states like a quant company based in India that give you a course with placement opportunities and everything else. So I got in touch with them. I got into a course with them. I bought the course. I was doing the prerequisite in my vacations after July. So January, February, March, April, then my May ended, and then June and July my exams were there, and I started to get in touch with these guys. So and I got the course. I paid nearly $6,000 to these guys, which by terms may sound a lot, but this is like 10 times less than how much you would have paid if I was going to go to University of Sydney or UNSW to study this course. And this will give me a good overview of if I like this or not. And I quite liking this actually. And I'm just waiting for my exams to end in like 10 days and I can go all in like head burst in this field, study everything. So this was it for these 2 months. In August, again my new semester started at the university. This was my final semester. So again hectic, lots of projects. I took a elective subject called trading in financial market as well, which is so hard. We'll get to it later. So this. So this was my August and September. Again, went into application. I started applying to job around this time because I wasn't getting any response in the first place, and I didn't know that much about quant. And I got this course, and I'm depending wholly on this course. And my goal is to land a job. Doesn't matter where in quant for like 1 or 2 years. I can work in this, and I will get another. What do you say? While I study, I will try to earn money and study again after a year or two at UNSW or any of these good universities and get into Susquehanna or any good top firm. Unless I end up in a good firm in Australia this year itself and build my way up to Susquehanna. That's another topic. So these things happened. What else? Now this was September. Now in October and November, again in October, lots and lots of assessments. I had my presentation for the final project, which I wish I had different teammates because these teammates that I had were the worst ones I've ever had in anything that I had to do before this. It was really hard for me. I had to do all the work. But yeah, that was my October. And November, we are currently in November. Well, I'm making this video. I'm studying for my exams, so all my exams are offline, pen and paper based. And the trading in financial market exams that I just mentioned. So this exam is going to have 10 questions, and all of them are going to be numericals, which I have to fucking study for like crazy. I'm spending my time on doing that. What else? So yeah, I'm spending my time doing that. I just came for library today. I've been there since the morning, actually. 2 o'clock, 2:30. I went there. 3 o'clock, I sat down. I came back home at 7, so almost 4 hours I was there. It was a good study session. I completed like 3 weeks worth of content. This is good pace. Actually, I have wished to do one more question, like 1 more weeks from on the subject, but well, anything better than doing nothing. So this was a good start for me. And what are my regrets for 2025? Hmm. The first and the major regret is not saying yes to the cybersecurity role that these guys offer because in such a bad market, I got an invite for a role. And I was so high in the clouds that I said no to this role, which I didn't understand how this happened. That was first part. Second part was not having a clear goal about what role I want to get into after I graduate. So I decided on software engineering, but that was all due to external influence. Like there was no internal influence in choosing software engineering as my role. So yeah, and another thing is I want to change my voice. I want to talk in a much more natural tone, like how I'm talking right now. But this tone is quite hard for me to pronounce each and every word in, so I'm practicing to talk in this tone. And it changes if I'm in a really nervous situation. But I will definitely try and try to get this as my main voice. And my second regret would be not asking my parents for money earlier and not getting my certificate in first aid earlier in my first sem of this year because my friend was already working there. He was trying to convince me to get it, but I ignored him and I worked in this fucking work that I'm doing right now. I was doing right for the past 1 year, 2 years of my university. It was so bad. I have no words. Actually, I only have curse word for the owner, but I will not say anything for now, as I don't want to badmouth myself and ruin my mood. So that was it for 2020. Another regret I had is when I started to get into quant, I didn't get head burst into it. I should have practiced every day 1 or 2 hours about quant instead of just wasting time. I didn't waste time. I wouldn't say I wasted time, but being more responsible with my time. So even though I study with college, university, I still had a lot and lot of free time on me. So I should have spent that time on studying about quant and see how again I started to talk with my throat instead of talking with my chest. So I have to fix this habit of mine as well. And another thing is the gym. So I'm currently on and off the gym. I don't know if my gains are visible. So a little bit are visible. So the lighting is a bit bad, but a little bit of them are visible. So that's one thing I want to get a lot more into the gym and gain a lot more muscle and facial. Facial. I have one droppy eyelid. Fucking, I don't know what happened. It's not even a droppy eyelid. It is fucking the whole thing is droppy, like this bitch. And I'm going to get it operated when I go back to India in 3 4 months. I will save up 1 or 2 lakh rupees, and I'll fucking get this done. I don't care, bro. I don't care. I have to get this done from a good doctor. I will get it done. And yeah, that is my plan for this year. And after my exam ends, I'm going to do PT and decide to do what to do with about my visa. Am I going to ask around and decide what type of visa I should get? And other than that, I have to also think about my PR and what my options are for PR. And yeah, so this is it for the live. I've spent 13 minutes. I think this is enough. And bye, guys. See ya. I started to talk again by my throat. And then it is like a habit of mine, which I have to change itself. I can talk with my chest as well. And it doesn't sound that much different, but a bit more better, a bit more relaxed, which gives a more relaxed impression, a bit more professional impression to someone I'm talking to. So I will try to work on this as well. And maybe I'm thinking of coming live every day and discussing how my day was. Bye, guys.